Peaky Blinders The King's Ransom has finally made its way to the PSVR2. I'll be going over what the game offers and hopefully help you decide if this is one for you. The story follows the Peaky Blinders and your character, Sammy Taylor, as they're trying to retrieve the red box. There is a fair amount of dialogue and scenarios. You also meet various characters along the way. During your time you can check your journal, which can add further info as you can select different scenarios of how they played out. This is just for reading purposes but gives the player the decision to craft some story. While playing you will notice some alternate choices, which is always a nice bonus as this will add some replayability. Overall the story wasn't too bad, but I do feel it could have been longer and more impactful. It can be completed in 2 to 3 hours depending if you explore. As for the gameplay, this is a first-person exploration game with some very basic shooting mechanics. For the first hour of the game, I just found myself walking about exploring while looking for collectibles. The majority of the collectibles are hidden in crates and require a hammer or crowbar to break open. There are a ton of different collectibles to find, such as tarot cards, cigarette boxes, bullets and many more. Now let's go over the shooting side of the game. It's not great and you mainly use a pistol and shoot at the enemies that run and stand in a set position. They don't move once situated, so you don't find yourself having to move around with them. Every time you reload you have to collect a new mag from one of the crates that have been scattered around the area. I'm not sure why it was done this way, as personally I didn't like it. They could have made it so a magazine could be stored in your pocket, as every time I noticed these magazine crates I knew there was going to be enemies to shoot, which kind of ruined that surprise. There are some other guns to use, but these come later and don't really add any excitement to the shooting. I found the gameplay to feel very dated and quite lackluster. I mainly enjoyed searching for collectibles as I felt this is what I was doing most. Time for the graphics and performance. So with graphics they ain't brilliant. The textures of walls, doors, objects and overall environments aren't that detailed. I did find the character models to have more attention to detail, as do the collectibles and weapons. The performance of the game isn't too bad, but towards the end I did notice frame drops during the shooting areas. I also had issues with weapons and hands getting stuck in the environment at times. I had to recenter or constantly shake my hands to fix this. Right, let's talk about comfort settings. The game has smooth and snap turning, full locomotion and teleportation, which is always on and can be used by pressing up on the right analog. You're also able to play the game seated or standing, and it does ask you this when loading the game. Personally, I think the game has enough comfort settings and I found it to be a comfortable experience. Overall, Peaky Blinders The King's Ransom isn't a great game, and it's quite unfortunate to say that, as there is such rich lore and story to use and bring this world to life. As much as I like finding the collectibles, I wish there was less and they put more concentration on building a richer and deeper story with the characters and maybe even giving Sammy a voice. I will go back and hunt down the rest of the collectibles, but other than replaying the story once for the alternate scenes, there really isn't much replayability. Sure, you have the shooting challenges, but with a game that has such uninspiring shooting mechanics, I don't want to endure that. So, should you buy this game? Personally, I think if you're a big fan of the Peaky Blinders show, then you may get some enjoyment from seeing the characters, but even then I couldn't recommend picking it up at full price. If you were after a first person shooting game, then avoid this, as it's definitely more exploration than shooting. I did enjoy part of my time with the game, but that didn't come from the shooting or the overall story, it all came from the collectibles. So that concludes my review of Peaky Blinders The King's Ransom. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, make sure to stick around as I intend to cover all PSVR2 games, so you will see the new releases as well as the old. Thanks for watching.